Yeah, you get the joke. He's a crazy guy. Hold on a minute.
Creator, come out and play.
Clone problems. You spend one night in a feverish state of creation and it ruins your life forever. Now I know what you're thinking. Why on God's good earth would you clone yourself? You see, science is experimentation. You're taking the old and new concepts and mixing them together to create something brand new and miraculous. In other words, I was trying to create a laxative pill. Hey, you can't really knock it because it worked, right?
Last time on Naruto Gaiden. Hey Naruto, you got your stomach all over my sword. You got your sword all over. And now, the thrilling continuation.
Hi, I'm Retro. This is Retro Rips. And today, you're going to have a very fun time. It's been a while since I actually got one of those off properly. What do you want? Some kind of figure metal? We open with a philosophical discussion between a man who expects a complete stranger to transplant the organs of his illegitimate clone son into himself to allow him to live despite massive organ failure, killing the clone in the process, and a woman who married a crazy person who later became the next Hitler nonetheless, despite the fact that he tried to kill her on more than one occasion, and basically is just an overall douche. Just saying, I'm not quite sure who's right and wrong in this situation. Probably Sakura, but... They discuss the ethics of whether it's right or wrong for a ninja to cultivate clones of himself with the one and only purpose of, extra body parts. As we'll find out a little bit later on in the chapter, the parallel between Sakura and Shin is a lot more powerful than you'd initially think. On one hand, Shin represents nature, the very forces that drive us as people. On the other hand, Sakura represents nurture, the power of a mother to love despite the fact that she's not genetically related to a child. Sasuke and Naruto reiterate the fact that they're essentially useless and somehow manage to get upstaged by Sakura, who should really never be upstaging anybody unless their name is Karen Uzumaki, and decide that since they can't find Sakura anywhere in the immediate area, that they're just going to take the kids along with them to go meet Orochimaru. After all, that's what they were planning all along. Let's face it, Sarada's safer with Sasuke and Naruto than she would be in the Hidden Leaf Village anyway, and Chocho, she's just too much work. Even though I don't really want to, let's talk about these things. As I pointed out before, these things are definitely Zetsu. But of course, they're Zetsu of a different breed. These Zetsu, rather than coming directly from Hashirama himself, come from Shin, and they are clones. You see, the thing about clones is, I hate them. Hate them, I hate them, I hate them, I hate them, I hate them! The idea that I can create a being who's essentially just like me in every single way, bar a few experiences here and there, is a scary thought. Some mad scientist freak is gonna get his hands on the technology and... the kid's got a good point. Life's too short to be waiting around and trying to kill a mook like this. I could be out there doing things, living my life, not shut up in here doing some freaky review show. Some people just never learn, and you can't do anything about that. What you can do is say fuck you to the mooks and get on with your life. My existence is brand new. The entire universe is at my fingers to contemplate. Fucking psychopath. After the reunion with Yamato, they go inside to meet up with Orochimaru, only to find out that the two doofuses are still working for him. Tweedledee and Tweedledum. But Tweedle Redhair is nowhere to be found. Hey Sasuke, what happened to Karen?
A snake ate my girlfriend, and now I'm sad. Now all I have is a wife and a daughter.
Orochimaru explains that, a long time ago, he experimented on a man who was compatible with every genetic makeup component known to man. This guy's DNA was so malleable, he even managed to combine it with the likes of Hashirama, and also managed to implant a buttload of Sharingan on his body without, rejecting the eye tissue. Inevitably, that guy's arm gets chopped off and given to Danzo. So, the Sharingan arm that Danzo had, this is the guy who had it before Danzo had it. It makes you think. that Kishi had absolutely no idea what he was doing when he was writing that scene. But Sarada, on the other hand, has a different agenda in mind. She takes Shark Boy aside and demands a genetics test. Because, all people who work with a geneticist know how to do genetic tests. But apparently he does, so he does. And wouldn't you know it, Sarada really is Karen's daughter. Got him! You're not the freaking mother, and Sasuke is a deadbeat. Sarada's Uzumaki, your life is always messy. You had to take care of a kid that wasn't even really yours. It's actually kind of respectable that you took care of Karen's kid. Well, I suppose there always is a surrogate theory, which, for those of you who don't know, is the theory that medical ninjutsu somehow inhibits Sakura's ability to have children. Most likely having to do with the seal 100 on her forehead that she got from training with Tsunade. And if it really is true, then I have the utmost respect for your character, Kishi. You finally turned her around in my eyes. I actually think that it makes Sakura a real hero. Having a child is like one of the greatest things you could do with your life. And Sakura gave that up just to be a medical ninja? It's amazing. And if it's not, and it's just some Uchiha purity bullshit, right there, buddy. Right there. It turns out that Naruto's been listening in on the conversation the entire time. And because, Shark Boy doesn't know how to handle this kind of thing, he leaves it to the Hokage. Naruto, I don't honestly buy for a second that you didn't know about any of this. See, the only way that you couldn't have is if Sakura somehow managed to sneak away for 9 months under your nose. Did you give her maternity leave? I mean, it's cool if you gave her maternity leave, but don't you think she would have been safer in the village for those 9 months? It's the same kind of logic that allowed Sasuke to go years without contacting his daughter and wife. At this point, Sarada explodes in anger at the fact that her parents have basically been lying to her entire life. She doesn't even want to go after her mom, even though that's probably just something that's more set out of anger than anything else. End of the episode. I'm out. I'm Retro. This is Retro Rips. Remember to like, comment, subscribe. With your help, we can find the perfect laxative pill. Peace. A laxative pill. I'm so funny.